Where it all began, where the fight started. Halo Combat Evolved came out on the 15th of November 2001, just 6 days after 9/11, which tells you how old this game is. It just turned 23 as of me writing this script. In case you don't know what Halo is, it's about this green Giga Chad killing a bunch of commie bastards called the Covenant, and that's about it, to be honest. Well, we may as well get into it. Also, spoilers for Halo Combat Evolved, even though this game is most likely older than you are. Now, Halo CE only really has 4 characters you spend more than 20 seconds with them being the Master Chief, Cortana, Keyes, and 343 Guilty Spark. There's also Sergeant Johnson and the Pilot Lady, but any moment with her is just her talking about getting you somewhere or picking you up from somewhere, and Sergeant Johnson's only in like 2 scenes, so I'll talk more about him in my Halo 2 and 3 videos. But Master Chief as well, the Master Chief. He is the most iconic character in all of gaming. He's a badass Spartan and a somewhat self-insert for the player. He never talks during gameplay, though he does talk during cutscenes, and he is funny, though he does kind of lack any of his badass lines from the other games. Cortana is an AI made by Dr. Jose, who tells you what to do for 80% of the game, though she does have some funny moments.
Okay. Oh, I see. This cave is not a natural formation.
You don't say! Keyes is the captain of the Pillar of Autumn. You also do ignore his commands like 50% of the time when he gives them out. And 343 Guilty Spark, who is the main monitor on this ring, and is also kind of the main villain. Now, you may be thinking, whoa, Tiddly, you did not say much about those characters, and to that I would say there's not really much to talk about, but to give credit where credit is due, games back then didn't really have story or really characters, so it's kind of hard to criticize. And now we're gonna go briefly over the 10 missions in this game. The Pillar of Autumn is the opening mission, and it's fun. It's a really good tutorial mission and it introduces you to the world of Halo really well. And the goal of this mission is to get the fuck off the ship. In the mission Halo, you land on the ring, you save some marines, and that's about it. For me, this is one of the weaker missions in the game, and it kinda drags a bit. The 4 holdout sections that make up the mission are really boring, but it is cool to get to see the Hill Ring for the first time, and driving around must have been cool in 2001. Problem being, I didn't play this game in 2001. I was in a nutsack somewhere. The Truth and Reconciliation is one of the best missions in the game. It slaps with a bunch of fun encounters like the Invisible Elite section when you get onto the Truth and Reconciliation. You use the sniper quite a lot. It's a bit like a stealth mission at the start, and your goal is to save Captain Keyes. The Cinematographer is also one of the best missions in the game, where you have an epic beach assault. Well, at least that's what you should do. In my case, I ran in opposite direction, got a warthog, and did the speedrun strat. Assault on the control room, in my opinion, is a bit of a drag. It takes forever, it gets tedious by like the second room, so that's why I spent far too long trying to do the speedrun for it. 343 Guilty Spark is arguably the best mission in Halo history. It is a masterpiece in visual storytelling, with one of the best twists in gaming history. The library is arguably the worst Halo mission in history, with some comparing its lateness to stage 5 lung cancer. Betrayals is assault on the control room, but backwards and a teeny bit better. Keyes is probably the weirdest mission in the games, where you try and save Keyes from the Flood, and for some reason the Flood have him on the Truth and Reconciliation. For some reason. The Maw is an epic conclusion to the game, where you go back to the Pillar of Autumn, but it's ruined due to the crash landing in the first mission, and is where you try and destroy the Halo ring before it can be activated. Right, so now we'll go over all the good things about Halo Combat Evolved. But first, the gameplay. Every enemy is fun and unique to fight, with the only somewhat annoying enemy being the rocket launcher flood. Also the music. God bless our Lord Matteo Donner. The music is amazing. This game also has some masterful visual storytelling, with the main standout for this being 343 Guilty Spark. Like, you can see blood everywhere. Bodies piled up in certain rooms. You can also see humans and jackals dead, but next to each other, which implies they made a final stand together, which is nice foreshadowing for when it happens during Halo 2. You may also notice there's no elites. That's because they're all flood. And if you go back to the elevator at the start of the mission, you can see it collapsing and burning on the way down. This mission is just goated. You also have so much freedom in this game. Like, the speedrun for this game is fucking mad. So many games they use to add an invisible barrier after an invisible barrier to stop you from doing these things. Halo CE is the best Halo game when it comes to player freedom. It adopts almost like a Skyrim type way of like, you're not meant to go over there, but you can. And this game has some of the best Halo missions like the Silent Cartographer and 343 Guilty Spark. I will also say the cutscenes are actually surprisingly good for when this game came out. Okay, now for the bad. And to get the elephant out of the room, this game has some of the most tedious missions in Halo, being Halo, the library, and Assault in the Control Room, and to a lesser extent, Two Betrayals. These missions all are kind of stinky and they drag the game down. They're all boring and they're all tedious and they all last way too long for what's actually going on during the mission. Like, Assault in the Control Room is so long with so many copy and pasted rooms, it makes me want to smash my head against the wall. The mission Halo is straight up boring with the second worst holdout sections in the entire game. And then there's the fucking library. This is one of the worst missions in Halo. This shit is so ass, it's like 2 floors too long. There's so many fucking holdout sections. Like, why does 343 Guilty Spark not just TP you to the MacGuffin? You slowly fight through each room on each goddamn floor, and it takes the Flood, which were a fun mix up in the last mission, and makes you burned out by them by the end. Another problem with this mission is got the copy and pasted shit like Assault in the Control Room. You've got the same holdout section in the same way, going for the same corridors, going for the same tunnels, going through the same somewhat open spaces, and even worse, you do Assault in the Control Room backwards in the very next mission. Though I do think Two Betrayals is better due to the multi-faction battles. Now, there is times in the game where the copy and pasting of a previous section does work, for example the Maw, but every other time, it mostly comes off as feeling quite lazy. Like, as I said before, why in the fuck did the Flood take keys to the Trip of Reconciliation? It kinda just feels like a shortcut. Okay, what I said there wasn't exactly true. It's like how people say Dumb and Dumber ran out of books by season 5, but they still had 2 fucking books! Because the cause for so many of the problems in this game is, well, it came out in 2001, which means it's not really fair for me to call it lazy. Think of like the technical wonders this game would have had back in 2001. Honestly, by today's standards, some things don't hold up so well, but back then it would have been magical. For example, before I mentioned that the characters aren't really characters in this game, but back then, this was like the first game to actually have characters or a story, so it's kind of hard to criticize it for that. All the repeating rooms, it does kind of feel like this is a problem caused by the game coming out in 2001, so even though I don't like it, it's hard to be truly angry about it. So what I'm trying to say in the most convoluted way possible is, even though by today's standards some things don't hold up, back then this would have been the best of the best, and it was. The last thing I want to talk about is the sandbox, which is one of the weakest in Halo, but that is also to be expected from the first game in a franchise. But it is still strong besides a few things, being the assault rifle, which is way too weak, given the shotgun is best rated at everything, and the plasma pistol was way too strong. There are things that I love. Having actual ammo, this is so much fun. I love having ammo for my weapons. I'm not sure why Halo these days just does not want you to have any ammo for your fucking guns. Though I am not a big fan of the health pack system, mostly because you have to fucking hunt for them during the game, which really takes you out of the flow. It's not a problem in all the missions, but it does feel like a big problem in missions like the library, where it's a pain in the ass. Especially how Halo Reach does the health pack system so much better. Also, the graphics are a big downgrade from Halo Reach. For some reason they chose to go back to a more retro style. I have no clue why. In conclusion, this game is super fun. It's some of the best Halo you will ever see. Though the game is held back from some big flaws, either caused by the time it came out or just bad decisions, e.g. the fucking library. But for its time, it's undeniably a masterpiece, and I would recommend the game to anyone. So on the whole, I'll give the game 8 out of 10.
Oh, This is it, baby. Hold me.